Hi, welcome back. I'm Matt with State of Flux, here to talk to you about my thoughts on the Oscars, the victories, thoughts, snubs, and surprises, all of which happened in this year's Oscar show 2021 for the 2020 Oscars season. And I had big thoughts. I gave a whole prediction video where I said who would win, who should win, and who got snubbed. And I was right with most of my predictions. I say most because there was a couple hardcore ones that kind of surprised me. But I have my trusty piece of paper here once more that I used last time to go through, so we're going to go through it again. And I'm just going to layer in my thoughts. But before I do that, I just want to give my overall opinion on how the Oscars this year were kind of handled. I thought the show was designed for people like me who are hardcore into film and whatnot, so I never found it boring. But I understand that the internet has sort of landed on, this was a really boring show, and I can't really argue against that, because, well, I was never bored, I was never really entertained, and this was not the show to build that ratings spike, especially since this, in all intents and purposes, was the year that most people would have had access to these movies. Most movies that were nominated were ones from Netflix, from Hulu. Netflix apparently had the most takeaways this year than any other studio. But most of these films were from Netflix, from Hulu, from the HBO Max simultaneous drop-off. People had ample opportunity to watch these movies. And so this should have been somewhat exciting in that people could have watched these, and yet they did nothing to create entertainment value except for a couple little moments here and there. They did like a weird music trivia moment where they walked through the crowd and asked 3 questions, but it was just incredibly awkward until the butt moment happened, and that was it. That was kind of like the biggest designed entertainment moment of the evening. You also had one of the performances, which I'll get into, had a great acceptance speech. But it was a heavy show in terms of like how they could have approached this. There was a lot of it was a hard year. There was a lot of passing, a lot of celebrities that had passed, but the whole world was taken by storm with the COVID-19 pandemic, and this was a chance to kind of make a little more celebratory, or if you are going to acknowledge how sad things were, let us feel sad. The whole in memoriam section was just kind of rushed. It's like they wanted to acknowledge and tip the hat to these people who we've lost, some of which very, very recently, but they didn't want you to feel anything about that. Just like, yep, she passed, and move on to the next one, move on to the next one. And then like the pictures were set to the tempo of the music, and so like you'd get like long periods with certain actors or actresses or filmmakers or whoever, and then all of a sudden the music picked up in tempo, and then it was like picture, 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 picture. You didn't even have a chance to read half of these people, and they eliminated some like really important people. Lucille from Arrested Development being like one of the big ones, and whatnot. But anyway, they also switched up. By design, Best Picture is always the last category, and I think they fully expected Best Actor to go to Chadwick Boseman, and so they switched this up, and they wanted to make a big kind of release moment at the end. And when it didn't happen, they switched up their formula, and it sort of ended with this big thud, because like everybody's jaw was kind of on the floor like, oh my god. And then the person who won wasn't able to attend, and he has since done a video sort of accepting his Oscar, but I'll touch on that in a moment. But they switched up this design for what they thought was a sure thing, and it wasn't, and it like stuck out like a sore thumb. I thought the Oscars for me played well up until like the last half hour. From the In Memoriam onwards, it was just kind of like a hellstorm of not great things happening. But anyway, so those are my just general thoughts. I'm gonna go now line by line and talk. Best Picture went to Nomadland. That was not a surprise for me at all. I expected that one to win, and I think it's a very good film. However, that's not the best films that were there. I really genuinely feel Promising Young Woman or Sound of Metal should have walked home with this Oscar. Nomadland is a fine film, but I was a little disappointed with that. However, it was what I kind of expected to happen. Best Director, Chloe Zhao, for Nomadland. This is what I expected to happen and who I wanted to win. So I was really pleased with this. She made a really stunning feature film. Like with the way she wove camera into the film as a character almost, and made this film incredibly personal. Then you have Best Actor. Everybody in the world expected Chadwick Boseman to walk away with that honor. And it went to Anthony Hopkins, who I thought if anybody could take it from Chadwick, it was going to be Anthony Hopkins. My only problem with that is Anthony Hopkins, of the people nominated, he has won before. Granted, it was 30 years ago, I think exactly, for Silence of the Lambs. It was 30 years ago, but he's won before, and Chadwick is not going to have an opportunity to win again. And I don't feel like it's even a pity posthumous performance nomination. I genuinely feel he gave the best performance last year, without question. I did not like Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. I have plenty of problems with that film, but his performance is like the apex of quality for any leading man performance last year. He was just perfect in that movie, and he had so much energy in it, and it's so sad that he didn't win. Anthony Hopkins did win. He did not expect to win, so he decided to stay at home in Wales. He released a video shortly ago where he accepted the nomination, and he basically tipped his hat to Chadwick Boseman, saying that he expected Chadwick to win, and it's genuinely tragic that he's no longer with us, and so he kind of honored Chadwick with his acceptance speech. And like, had he been there last night and delivered the speech that I heard this morning, I think people would have been a little more understanding. But just to have Anthony Hopkins as the winner, the end, bye, and then just cut to commercial was like kind of messed up. So then you have Best Actress. Frances McDormand won. She is who I expected to win. However, I think she was the least deserving of any of these performances. Not that she gave a bad performance. She's really good. I liked her. My wife did not land the same way when she won last night. I believe her quote was, in that movie she had the range of a minnow. So that kind of stuck with me. Andrea Day gave an excellent performance from what I hear in The United States versus Billie Holiday. I was kind of expecting her or Viola Davis to win. My heart was going for Carey Mulligan. And Frances won again. She won, this is her third Oscar, and she won one of them just a couple of years ago, so I was pretty disappointed with that. That said, everything else I was by and large happy about. So I'm going to get into some more like of my thoughts that are more like woo. So we have for Best Supporting Actor, Daniel Kaluuya won for Judas and the Black Messiah. He gave an excellent performance. Again, that's not a movie that I absolutely love just because I don't like the style of movie that it is, which is sort of like soft, like sting operation-y kind of thing. that just isn't a movie that speaks to me. I was really pulling for Paul Raci for Sound of Metal, but Daniel Kaluuya was magnetic in his performance, and he deserves his Oscar, especially since he's given so many really strong works in the past. Be it Get Out, Black Panther, Black Mirror, any other number of things he's done. Best Supporting Actress went to, and I'm probably going to say this wrong, Yuh-Jung. Yoon. She even corrected us last night as to how to pronounce it. She gave what I thought was last year's best supporting actress performance. She really gives 2 performances in that film. She was great, and she had the highlight of the night. Her acceptance speech was super charming, super fun, super funny, while also being sweet and sentimental as well. It was excellent. If you haven't watched her acceptance speech, I urge you to YouTube that right now. Best Original Screenplay went to Emerald Fennell for Promising Young Woman. I put exclamation points right there because I was so ecstatic. That was the number one thing I needed to have happen last night that I did not expect to have happen. I thought it was going to go to Minari or The Trial of the Chicago 7. I was so pleased that Promising Young Woman won. That is the best screenplay that has been written in the past 25 years. I keep saying that and I stand by it. That screenplay is pitch perfection. And I imagine that will be used in writing courses and stuff on how to write screenplay and build story and stuff. That movie is exceptional at how it works its screenplay. Best adapted screenplay went to The Father. I wasn't sure who was going to win this one. I really thought it was going to be One Night in Miami, and I really kind of wanted that to happen. It went to The Father, and so kind of all I have to say about that. Best Animated Feature went to Soul, and I think that worked for me. That was my favorite movie from last year. I was kind of maybe a little softly hoping for Onward because I did like that one a lot as well, and I think that's underappreciated film, whereas Soul gets the appreciation. So, Best Production Design went to Mank. That one is the one that I was rooting for. The production design of that film takes you right back to 1939, 1940 when they were filming Citizen Kane, and if you were to pair those movies next to each other, it's seamless. They did such great quality, and I'm glad they were recognized for it. Costume design, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. I was kind of surprised that one won, but I understand it, and it's a good looking film in terms of costume. I was kind of thinking that it was going to go to Mank or Emma. Not that Mank had particularly great costumes, but I did think it was authentic of the time, and Emma did have quite a good look for the costume design. But way to go, Ma Rainey's. Cinematography, this went to Mank. It would have been shocking if it didn't. However, I thought Nomadland might take that, but I'm glad Mank did. Again, pair this next to Citizen Kane, and it's identical. David Fincher is exceptional at bringing highest technical quality to filmmaking, and he really nailed it with Mank here. Editing, Sound of Metal, deserved that. So way to go, Sound of Metal. Makeup and hairstyling, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom took that. I'm happy about that, and that's the first time an African-American hairstylist or makeup artist has ever won an Academy Award, which is kind of shocking, and they did a great job. Just look at Viola Davis in that film. She is unrecognizable, and they did just incredible work at getting her to look like the real Ma Rainey. Sound. If this did not go to Sound of Metal, I was gonna flip a table over. I'm so glad that Sound of Metal won for sound. There was no other contention in my book that secured the win. Visual effects went to Tenet. Again, that's the one that had to have won. I famously am not in love with Tenet or necessarily Christopher Nolan. That said, what Christopher Nolan brought to the table with how the visual effects were done, mostly in camera work, in Tenet, needed to be recognized. So I was impressed with that. Score went to Soul. I kind of expected that, and I was happy about it. However, none of the scores this year really tickled my ears very well. But I'm glad Soul won. Way to go, Trent Reznor and the rest of the crew. Fight for You from Judas and the Black Messiah won for Best Song. I had no fight in that game either. I'd seen most of those movies. I didn't really watch Eurovision Song Contest, but I'd seen the other four. I was kind of hoping for Low C from The Life Ahead. Excellent little Italian film if you get a chance to watch on Netflix. Do so. Sophia Loren is great in that movie. But I was kind of hoping for that one. That said, Fight for You was good from the little soundbite that I heard. Documentary feature went to My Octopus Teacher, and again, the little exclamation points, I was geeking out. That was in my top 5 favorite movies last year. I'm kind of low-key bummed that The Mole Agent didn't win as well. Like, both of those movies are exceptional. All the documentaries were really good. Collective is so hard to watch, but very fantastic as well. Crip Camp as well. I didn't see Time. But My Octopus Teacher, very happy that won. That was my other, big one I was rooting for. International feature, Another Round, won. I sung the praises of that earlier. You can actually watch Another Round, Better Days Collective, and The Man Who Sold His Skin all on Hulu if you have it, and I urge you to do so. But yeah, Another Round was a great movie, and his acceptance speech was so moving. And especially when he was talking about the passing of his daughter, again, watch the acceptance speech for Another Round, Best International Feature. It moved me. Animated feature went to If Anything Happens, I Love You. This is a short on Netflix. Watch it now. It is exceptional. It hurts to watch. It is a grueling examination of grief and excellent use of animation. There's no words in that film. It's just a pure tone poem of sound and visual. And it's exceptional. If that didn't win, I was going to be very, very disappointed. Documentary short went to Colette. This one's on YouTube. You should watch it. It is very moving and whatnot. I was kind of rooting for A Love Song for Latasha, which is on Netflix, but Colette is extremely good. And then live action short went to Two Distant Strangers, which is on Netflix. That is an incredibly timely film, and understandable why that one won. I was low-key hoping for The Present, which is also on Netflix, but I get why Two Distant Strangers won. It is very real, and I urge you to watch that one as well. So there you have it. That's Oscars 2021. Hopefully next year's Oscars are a little stronger with the feature films that are available to us. I think that, like in any other year, a lot of the films that were nominated would not have been, but that kind of worked this year, right? I liked that we got movies that weren't incredibly huge mainstream movies with big budgets. We got some movies that were small scale, no less polished. These movies are all gorgeous on some level and have something important to say. But I'm curious to see what next year brings us and whatnot. So there you have. Let me know what you thought was the best win, the most vindicated win, and what you thought was the biggest snub. I imagine it's going to be everybody saying Chadwick, but some people might have their hat in another battle there. So that's not even a saying, but it is now, so let's hashtag it. Thanks for watching, and have a good day.